So today's focus is going to be on 10 designer fragrances that are worth way more than they're priced out at discounters. A lot of these here are discounted a pretty good rate. Typically, on average, the going retail price for men's designer fragrances is going to be anywhere from 80 to 100. It's actually increased over the years, especially this day and age. I mean, there's new releases coming out as parfum concentrations that are like 140, 150 for 100 mils. So the prices are going up. But you know, in this instance, typically 80 to 100, somewhere around in there. A lot of these can be found below that by a good amount. And in my opinion, these are worth way, way more than they're priced out at discounters. If these are going for, you know, $25, $30, $40, $50 at discounters, I think they could easily be fetching their retail price or even over that. I mean, these are really good here. Like I said, sticking with all designers, trying to keep it on the affordable side for you. Really the goal for this video is if you're wanting to add some very valuable, high quality fragrances to your collection that do bring a lot of value and that aren't just going to be kind of dust collectors, so to speak. You know, you want ones that you're really going to enjoy and gravitate towards and wear a lot because they do offer a lot of bang for the buck. Check these out. I will link them up down below to discounters, of course. So you can get them at the price that they fall into. You know, just because I'm saying that they're worth over that doesn't mean you should pay over that. Always try to get the best deal you can, and those links will get that for you. Let's go ahead and start off right here with everyone's favorite line, right? Bentley for Men. Not intense though, so it's not Bentley for Men intense. Bentley for Men, the Eau de Toilette, the original, where it all started. Rum, leather, and cinnamon are just a couple of the main notes. I do believe there's a bay leaf in here as well. Man, I'll tell you, you know, while this line, and especially the intense, is one that's very polarizing across the community, for me, it just couldn't get much better than this. I believe you're looking at around $30 for 100 mil on this one. The original here will be a bit more affordable than the intense version, and the intense is still in the 30s, maybe upper 30s, maybe close to 40, somewhere around in there, but it's an incredible steal. Big fan of this DNA. And for those of you who may smell the intense and you think it's just too strong for you, too churchy smelling from the incense, maybe too old school smelling for you, then check out the original, the Eau de Toilette. It's easy to overlook this one. It's easy to sleep on it, but it's really, really good. You know, it's where it all started after all, and it's a great bang for your buck. Great value. Good performance for what it is. Quality is just untouchable in this price point, and this could easily go for way more than it currently does. So next up we have a Perry Ellis. This one is Aqua Extreme. So when you get into Perry Ellis, you know, they have a lot of fragrances, a lot of affordable ones, and so then you're rolling the dice a little bit. You know, it's easy to look at the hyped up ones and be like, oh, they have some great releases, which they do. Perry Ellis 360 Red, very, very popular. But, you know, someone had to find that first. You know, before that got hyped up, you could have been going through tons and tons and tons of Perry Ellis fragrances until you found that one, which is a winner. And for me, I think I found another really solid scent, and that is Aqua Extreme. Lavender, geranium, tobacco, and juniper are just a few of the main notes. So probably not what you were expecting, right? You may be thinking of aquatic notes, bergamot, and something of a very boring composition. But this has a little bit more to it than that, quite a bit more to it. It's like a mature, refined, and smooth wearable summertime fragrance to some extent here. You know, it has a nice smooth richness about it, a little bit of a sweet pop underneath. Gets compared to Dylan Blue a little bit, and it is kind of in that category somewhat, but I do think more mature than Dylan Blue, but it does have that smoothness and a little bit of that sweetness that Versace does have. I do find it to be very, very pleasant. You can get it for a great price. I believe 100 mil, $25, and I think they do have it in a 200 mil I saw for, I don't know, what was it, 39 or something, which is a good deal as well. That's a ton of juice. So it's very affordable, and it really is a nice solid pickup. It's one that I really enjoy. I'm excited to wear it this summertime. It's a newer fragrance to my collection, so I haven't had a chance to wear it in the heat, but I'm excited to check it out. I think this one smells like it could be a lot more expensive than it is, and that's not something you get with all Perry Ellis scents. So next one here, we have one that does smell like it could be worth a lot more than it is for two reasons, one of which being the quality and the composition and all that stuff. But the other one being that it smells like something that is $90, $100+ even on discounters. This is Mercedes-Benz Cologne, and of course I'm talking about DIOR Homme Cologne. So this one smells very similar to that DIOR at about half the price. So this one's got notes like grapefruit, lemon, verbena, musk, a couple of different orange notes in here. Very, very fresh, very citrusy with a little bit of a soft woodiness in the base and a lot of musk going on. Smells amazing. It's DIOR Homme Cologne, about as close as you can get. There are some alternatives out there as well, like a Jimmy Choo Man Ice. That one gets you close, but also it strays further away. This is probably about the close you can get at the price point it is. And you guys may remember, some of you, that this was discontinued at one point or something like that, which was a huge letdown because it was really the best DIOR Homme Cologne fragrance out there. Alternative, that is, and I still think it is. But it is fully in stock now on discounters for $39. It easily smells like it could be going for $90, $100+. Seriously, the quality is that good. In some instances, this may perform better on you than DIOR Homme Cologne, which is not a renowned performer by any means. So it's a really, really nice alternative. Presentation's nice, nice snap-on cap, nice looking bottle. Scent is great. All things considered, this one is really well done. So next one is a little bit controversial as well. It's one that had its time in the spotlight. It had its fair share of hype back a few years ago. I think around when I was first starting out, which is going on 5 years now, which is crazy to think about. So it's getting a good amount of hype for a couple reasons, one of which being it's very affordable. It was pretty consistently at $20 even for 100 ml back in when it was getting hyped up. Now you're looking at 25, upwards of 30 for 100 ml, which is still very, very a good deal. But this is FBLACK Pour Homme by Ferragamo. The other reason why this one was getting hyped up is that it gets thrown around and gets compared to La Nuit de l'Homme, which I really don't think it smells all that much like La Nuit de l'Homme at all. But when you start putting the two together, the two fragrances that is, and you see that this one's much cheaper, people don't care. They're going to buy it anyway. If they get it and it doesn't smell like La Nuit de l'Homme, chances are they're still going to be happy with it because it is a good scent. Lavender, black pepper, tonka bean, apple. Very, very spicy, but also very masculine. I've described this one in this certain way ever since I got it almost 5 years ago. It smells like a well-dressed guy walking down the streets of Chicago in the middle of wintertime. It's strong, peppery, it really holds up to the brisk weather, and it has like an upscale dressy smell. Kind of has just a modern city type of smell. You know, this smells like something you would smell on a well-dressed guy who's living the city life and is having success for himself. That's kind of what this one's all about. Very affordable and smells much more high-end than this one goes for. Next up, we have another $20 scent. I believe this one's right on the money there, $20, somewhere around in that price point. From ROCHAS, this one is ROCHAS Man. Bottle leaves a bit to be desired. Maybe one that you would want to stash towards the back when you have people come over and you're showing off your collection, or you could have it front and center as a conversation starter, because this is going to get people talking. Cappuccino, lavender, vanilla, and raspberry are some of the main notes. One of the best designer coffee fragrances in this price point period. I've had a few in my collection. I've smelled a lot of coffee fragrances, even on the niche side as well. But this still, to this day, is one that just gets me fired up. The fact that you can get something this affordable that is this good is mind-blowing, and I think a lot of you guys need to put your attention on this one. Set your sights on it. Throw it in your cart next time you're making a purchase at FragranceNet or something, because it is a really, really impressive pickup that you may not think much about. Nice coffee note, clean lavender, a little bit of a raspberry, fruity pop in the opening, a little bit of a sweetness there. Very well done. Yes, the bottle is not, come on. When you take a look at something like this, your money's going here too, right? With this one, your money's all going to the scent as well. If you're a bottle enthusiast and you really like to pick stuff up for the bottle and you don't like this, I encourage you to still give it a try anyway. Next up, a fragrance that's a bit newer to my collection, one that I've been thoroughly impressed with though, from CERRUTI. This one is 1881 Signature. It's a very sharp looking bottle, first of all. There's the back, has this matte finish, and then on the front, obviously you can see the level of the fragrance a little bit. You can also see all the smudges on the bottle, right? Press fit cap, great atomizer though, pushes out a ton. Wow, This is really, really, really good. A fragrance that is easily overlooked because it's from a brand that I've never heard of before. I would say a lot of people probably haven't, heard from it, at least in comparisons to pretty much all the other brands in this video, right? We got some big names in here. This is something that I just put off for the longest time, but I wish I would have gotten it sooner. This one's got leather, pepper, amber, and cardamom. So that leather note comes through front and center very, very strong. It's kind of an earthy, animalic leather, kind of a dry spiciness. You get the cardamom giving off a spiciness as well. A good amount of woods going on in here. Incredibly well done. This one gets compared to La Nuit de l'Homme. So another La Nuit de l'Homme compared fragrance. This one's almost even further away from F Black a little bit. I will say, when you smell it off the atomizer in the dry down, it's not going to smell like it right now because I just sprayed it. But atomizer, dry down, you pick up on the cardamom lavender, you get hints of a La Nuit de l'Homme feel. But when you spray this one on your skin or up in the air for the first time, all that leather's coming through, it couldn't be further from it. So that's something to keep in mind. Really, for the most part, there aren't too many La Nuit de l'Homme alternatives out there, at least that are super popular and that are really, really close. There's things that touch on it here and there, but for the most part, if you want La Nuit de l'Homme, just buy La Nuit de l'Homme and buy this for the fact that it is a very good, affordable, strong, and masculine leather fragrance. Very, very well done stuff. Easy to overlook, but I encourage you, if you want something different and you want to stand out, please check this one out. It is also an eau de parfum, good performer, good richness, great stuff. Next up, we have Roberto Cavalli UOMO. This is going to be the original. On clearance for like $20 for 100 ml, consistently on FragranceNet, somewhere around in that price point. Very, very affordable. That's basically dirt cheap, especially in this day and age. Violet, honey, tonka bean, and saffron. It is an incredibly unique fragrance. You would not expect something like this from a $20 fragrance. You just wouldn't. A lot of times in this price range, you're getting a lot of aquatics, a lot of stuff that's on the boring side, very simplistic, bare bones stuff. But this one has a lot of richness with that honey violet mixture, that saffron in here. It's a really nice fall and wintertime, cooler weather scent. One that will have you standing out. I don't have anything else in my collection that smells like this one, and that's saying something. So next up, we have a fragrance from the brand of John Varvatos. This is a brand that's very special to me. I've been collecting them kind of ever since the beginning. If I remember correctly, I think the first one that I got was Artisan Aqua, which is now discontinued, unfortunately, but I think I got that one from eBay. Came with a cap, but I remember it being wrapped in like bubble wrap, and it wasn't the most professional presentation, but I got my first bottle in. I remember unboxing it and opening up, and it was like spring, early summer out. It's gorgeous outside. Windows might have even been open. I sprayed Artisan Aqua for the first time, and I'm like, wow, like this is phenomenal stuff at that price point. I was blown away. I was still new at that time. I was experimenting with stuff. Hadn't smelled any niche, hadn't smelled that many high-end designers, but when I smelled Artisan Aqua, I'm like, okay, you can get something this good for this price, and from there on, I was hooked on the brand of John Varvatos. This is one that I picked up later on down the road as well. This is vintage, so typically $40 or so is where this one's going, mid-30s as well, somewhere around in there. Again, prices on everything are going up. Especially on John Varvatos. They had a bankruptcy thing, and I don't know what's going on now, to be honest with you. But I know that you could still get this easily, and I'm super glad that you can. Tobacco, suede, fir, and rhubarb are some of the main notes. Great stuff. Fantastic. If you're wanting to get into John Varvatos and you don't want to start with the citrus one like Artisan Blue, Artisan Pure, or the original Artisan, this would be a good jumping off point. Go straight into vintage. It's not daring in the sense of being hard to pull off. Really, it's not daring at all, but it is unique though. It's a nice little twist on the typical mints fragrance. You get that tobacco in here, the fir, the suede. It's a nice note breakdown. It's solid. The only problem with these across the board is performance. They don't do that well. But all things considered, for the price, for the sheer quality and uniqueness alone, it's worth it, and it smells like it could be more expensive than it is. Doesn't necessarily perform like it, but it smells like it. Second to last, we've got Givenchy Air. Love the bottle, super sharp, love the coloration, love the frosted glass on the front. Very cool stuff. Benzoin, neroli, ginger, and florals are some of the main notes. I'm a big fan of Givenchy. Big fan of Givenchy. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. And I'm almost even a bigger fan of Pi Air. It has the perfect balance of still having that benzoin kind of vanillic sweetness, that dusty powdery smell, but with this bright, almost green and minty pop in the opening, the nice freshness, it lightens it up. It does give it kind of an airy, ozonic quality. Great scent here. Very wearable. I also think the original is wearable as well, but this one especially lightens it up, freshens it up, and it is super easy to get along with. It smells great in spring, smells great in probably early fall. You can even pull it off in summertime if you wanted to. Just do be prepared that it is still going to be a little bit more sweet, especially when you get some heat on it. But all things considered, this stuff here is a beauty and it smells expensive. Last up, a fragrance that smells expensive for a couple of reasons, one of which being just the amount of quality that it brings, but also the fact that it, to me, smells like a couple niche fragrances, which I'll talk about. From BVLGARI, this one is Man Wood Neroli, or BVLGARI Wood Neroli, whatever you want to call it. This one, of course, has neroli. It's got bergamot, it's got woods, it's got ambergris. I'll go ahead and spray this one. I actually sprayed it on before the video, not on, but in the air. Oh man, even now to this day, still, it just blows my mind. Fantastic. Gorgeous opening. Here's what it smells like to me. It smells a little bit like a mixture between Xerjoff Neo and Kobe. It's also like Tom Ford Neroli Portofino and Ferrari, Bright Neroli. But to me, it just reminds me the most of the Xerjoffs I mentioned. It has that strong neroli forward, kind of crushed up neroli leaves and bergamot bitterness of Neo and kind of sweetness, but it also has this very sweet effect of Kobe as well, which is also citrusy, kind of floral. It just has this sugary sweetness that is delicious smelling. I could smell this all day. It's incredibly well done. Like seriously, crushed up neroli leaves, nice sweet tart bergamot, sugary fruits. It is to die for. This one, I believe, is going to cost you around $60 or so on discounters, 100 mil, which is very reasonable considering the Xerjoffs that it reminds me of, or what. I don't even know. There are a lot, though. I literally can't even remember off the top of my head. 300 plus, probably. So, yeah, this is definitely a really good deal. It's an eau de parfum. It's a good performer, great for springtime. It's going to be a really good transitional scent. Spring, probably the best for it. Early summer as well, before it gets too scorching hot. From then on, you would want to switch over to something like BVLGARI Man Extreme for the really hot summer days. But I'll tell you what, this one right here, it smells like everything coming back to life. It smells like the grass getting green, the garden starting to bloom, just everything. It smells like nature, smells fun, springtime, gorgeous scent. Alright guys, that's going to do it for me. That's 10 fragrances that are worth way more than they're currently going for on discounters. These are amazing. If you're wanting to add some stuff to your collection that will maybe in some instances kind of pose a little bit of a challenge to you, these will be for you. But really the idea is just to add some fragrances with a ton of value. Instead of picking up a bunch of cheapies that just don't do much for you, these should all bring something new to the table. I will link them down below to discounters. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.